we saw some fans buying merchandise at the start of Raw. This was like Pavlovian conditioning. I just stood up and I went and bought a t-shirt. Everybody arrived at the building too, including Liv Morgan and Dominik Mysterio. They were in the damn lowrider. When all of a sudden, Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman came crashing through the merchandise, which kind of explains why we had the merchandise set up to begin with. Now, take a step back and look at this for what it was. It means they have been fighting for the past 7 days and nobody could break them up. This is my kind of wrestling. Also, hello my friends, welcome to Ups and Downs, the review show with me, Simon Miller, where indeed I take my finger and I wiggle it around. If it points to the sky, it means we had a good time. If I point to hell, it means we had a bad time. Sound good to you? Awesome. Also, if you are in Chicago on Thursday, make sure you come down to Second Wrestling, because I'm having a match there. Now let's up those downs. So despite that fight, Liv Morgan and Dominik Mysterio still came to the ring. Liv Morgan was all like, my revenge tour was very successful, and I did take everything from Rhea Ripley. Of course, she said her name way too many times, so as per Wrestling Rule 14.4, Rhea Ripley did come to the ring. She told a lie. She said, Elizabeth, I am definitely not going to hit you. Also told Dominik to get out of her face, probably because that facial hair was getting a bit close. When Liv just jumped back in, she was like, listen, you'd probably still be with the condom if you were not spending all of your time with Damian Priest. So the love triangle is going to become a love square. I don't really know how that works. Morgan also thought that Ripley was only here to bail on their bad blood match. And she was like, listen, you may be stronger than me, and you may be bigger than me, but you are not smarter than me. I was like, man, it sounds like actually there is going to be no fight. They're just going to do a math quiz. Rhea just laughed this off because she's 100% good to go. And she even has an added stipulation, which is that Dominik Mysterio is going to be suspended above the ring in a shark cage. Because, of course, he's been to jail before, and his place where he deserves is behind bars. Make sure you check out this match graphic too, which should be hung in the Louvre. This is when Rhea Ripley just went schwang. My gosh, she headbutted Liv Morgan so hard, I think I fell on the floor. So this feud is just fun, and while I presume that Rhea Ripley will win her women's championship back, I am not sure at all, and that is wrestling's secret sauce. I'd be happy for them to carry this on throughout the end of the year. There's just something about it that entertains me. That's why I watch wrestling. Everybody forgets this. I don't put it on and go, man, I hope this really pisses me off. I just want to have a good time. Up. When Sami Zayn defeated Ludwig Kaiser, of course he did, and Bowser is not going to be happy. Now, Sami was whooping this guy's ass until he was going to do something off Barry Barricade, when Ludwig just went nope, and he pushed him right into Samantha Irvin's chair. And I tell you, we're going to have WWE 2K25 at some point. Should put the move in the game. Sadly though, this did indeed trigger the most powerful force in all of sports entertainment, the commercial break. Because when we returned from the advert, Sami Zayn had timed this perfectly and he started to run wild. So once again we learn about the commercials. Doesn't matter if you're a good or a bad guy, it will take you out. Kaiser was still able to dodge the haluva kick when he went to the outside and just murdered Sam's head using Simba the Steel Steps. He does like to do this a lot, and it's not a problem. So let's just catch up here. On SmackDown, we got a disqualification because somebody in the match pulled somebody else out of the ring. But here, you could take some metal and try and see somebody's brain. We also teased the count out there, but of course, Sami got back in the ring when he got hit with the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up. And this idiot Ludwig used the ropes, and the referee saw it, and he broke it up. I was like, dude, it's the most devastating move. You don't need to use no pansy-ass ropes. Kaiser was still able to dodge some haluva kicks when he got hit with the ultimate insult, because he wanted a DDT, but Zayn hit him with a German suplex, and Ludwig is from Germany, so now he's let his whole country down, when finally he did get booted in the face. 1, 2, 3. So that was a good match, and Gunther was being really weird, because quite clearly, he was waiting behind the curtain saying, listen bro, I'm gonna go out there as soon as this is finished, which he did do, and he said, Sami, oh my gosh, we should absolutely have a fight, but of course I'm joking, and my answer is still 9. So I really like the fact that Gunther has decided he does not want any part of Sami Zayn, because he doesn't deem Sami Zayn to be worthy enough, but of course we are going to do this, so WWE is going to have to come up with a pretty good reason why it does change. And I cannot think of one. There's no issues here though, because once again, it just told a story and we know where we're headed. And at one point, Ludwig Kaiser will get his super push because he's very good. Up. When the New Day stole the show. they do that. Because Xavier Woods was very happy to see Kofi Kingston was like, man, I shouldn't have done what I did last week. And Kofi was like, don't worry about it. I shouldn't have done it either. And you know what we should be doing? It's 10 years of the New Day, so let's celebrate. This meant Kingston got out Francesca the trombone and a bunch of bootios, and Xavier was like, well, that stuff's all well and good, but you know, we can only really do that when we are the champions. We haven't held those belts for about 3 years. Now, Kofi totally understood. He was like, man, my friend, my lover, my boy, let's put a bunch of power into your pants, because now you can be the quarterback of the team, so you're in charge. But Xavier was very happy about this. American Made then proved they were weird too, because they must have been right there, because they just walked into the frame. They were like, oh, it's the New Day. You guys are crap, and we hate you, and we want to get some wins. When Kofi Kingston pretended he could see Uncle Howdy behind him, Chad Gable freaked out. I love it. Once Chad had calmed down, he said he did want some competition, which when the New Day said, well, we'll take you on later. And of course, this came from the mouth of Xavier Woods. We just did this. He's in charge now. American Made then left, and at this very moment, a guy with pancakes walked up behind Xavier Woods. Kofi Kingston was doing the whole, oh, you better go away. This is not a good idea. And I laughed out loud. I tell you, these two do not get the credit they do deserve. And I throw Big E into that mix as well. The New Day has been going for a decade, and they're always thinking about ways just to make you smile. This story is also very good. This popped me like a balloon. It's getting it up. Adam Pearce also then finally took charge, because Liv Morgan and Dominik Mysterio were like, oh, I don't want to be in a shark cage. He was like, listen, Dom, you absolute goober. You get involved in every single championship match, so you're going in the cage. Bless Dominik as well, because he actually shouted, that wasn't me, it was Tom, which is a very niche joke. And after they left, we cut to the Judgment Day. This is because it is going to be Carlito versus Dragon Lee later. Carlito was like, don't worry, my friends. I will definitely beat that guy. That was his first mistake. I was like, Carlito, I like you. You're not taking on a guy. He's a flipping dragon. Dom and JD McDonagh then promised they'd be at ringside too. When they bumped into Ilya Dragunov, he was just like, I'm not scared of you anyway, but you ain't even with Finn Balor right now, so why don't you flub off? When all of this did come to fruition, because it was Dragon Lee versus Carlito, yeah, Dragon wrecked him. But it can't have got more than 2 minutes, and halfway through, all of a sudden, the Judgment Day and the LWO were fighting. And even though I don't think Rey Mysterio had come out with his crew, he just teleported in and he dove off Barry Barricade. But that was tease one, because Carlito couldn't handle what was going on outside, so he forgot he was in a match when Dragon Lee hit the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment for the 1-2-ooh. When he was like, why am I doing that? And instead, he hit him with Operation Dragon and he pinned him. Uno, dos, tres. So I actually think that's good, because sometimes you just have to decide when it's your night, pal. And given that Dragon Lee hadn't won a match since March, I think he deserves this night. And also, if you are going to continue to do stuff between the Judgment Day and the LWO have to get some wins. So yeah, this was fine. It was so quick, I wasn't able to be offended. Giving it up. The Miz was then preparing for a match with Bronson Reed, because he must have a death wish, when Karrion Kross walked in and basically went, you're the Miz, man. You need to remember, you're the Miz. Now, it's better than this, because he was being an emotional manipulator, which he loves to do. And even though the Miz knows what he's doing, he also kind of agrees, because as he keeps talking about, he's lost his way. Nobody's given him Google Maps. So I think this could be quite interesting when we learned that a bunch of Netflix executives were in the front row of Raw. And oh my gosh, Joe Tessitore put it over like the king and queen of the world had arrived. So let's not pretend this relationship isn't very strong. And all of a sudden, Kathy Kelly was talking to Sheamus. He just called Pete Dunne Butch over and over again when he reminded us about his ancestors. Why wouldn't you do that? They have long stated, though, there is nothing more dangerous than an Irishman with a grudge. I was like, dude, I'm just going to dispute that. And in fact, I take that the wrong way. That ain't more dangerous than a bazooka. I know which one I would want to take into war. When we did indeed get to the Miz versus Bronson Reed, before we do talk about it, later on there was also a video for Bronson Reed versus Braun Strowman, and it had been made like it was Godzilla versus King Kong. I'm just giving it a round of applause. It was so damn good. WWE has started to do loads more new stuff when it comes to presentation, and if they care what I think, which they absolutely do not, make sure you keep on doing it. It absolutely tied in too, because this match never began, because Braun Strowman was all of a sudden here, and he jumped on Bronson Reed when he picked him up, and he threw him into the ring apron. It's the hardest part of the ring. Now, The Miz was super mad about this because, of course, Braun was now interrupting his match, which is when Bronson took them out with a dive, when finally a bunch of useless security guards ran out. So Bronson Reed climbed to the top rope with a security guard, threw him from there onto another security guard when he hit the tsunami, and I tell you, these guys just must be like a piece of paper now. They absolutely got squished. Strowman was also chokeslamming people left and right when, I kid you not, about 68,242 people had to come out, and even then they struggled to stop it. So I think this may have been perfect because it was just big men slapping man meat. As far as I'm concerned, we should get to 2092 and these two should keep fighting. But also, Adam Pearce later on announced that next week we are doing a last monster standing match. That is the dumbest thing that anybody has ever said, but I am so damn excited because I am the dumbest human being that's ever been born. So I just want dumb stuff to be sent to my house all of the time. I don't think I could have enjoyed this anymore if I had tried. It's what pro wrestling is all about. It's getting, obviously, a massive up. And it's probably why Drew McIntyre came to the ring after this. It's time to get super duper serious. Before that, though, I do have to talk about my new hero, which was born on this evening, because somebody in the crowd actually had a crime counter sign. Because as we all know, wrestlers love committing crimes. Now, you didn't ask for an up, but you were most definitely getting an up. You made me laugh out loud. You guys are the best. But yeah, as for Drew McIntyre, it is crazy now, and he actually agreed with everything that CM Punk had said last week. He was like, yes, my dear boy, it is going to be the end for you, because I'm going to kill you in the Hell in a Cell. He also continued to treat the stipulation like it was the end of days, which I'm a huge fan of, because he doesn't want to get in there either. His family and his wife are like, you've got to stop doing it. That CM Punk is ruining your brain. But that's the whole point. He does want to break the career of CM Punk. And the only way to do that is in the demon's favorite structure, whatever the flubber calling it. He also promised blood too, so there is no way we're not about to get a bloodbath. When he was like, well, you know what, Sum, it's not a big surprise you do compare yourself to the devil, because there is always good and evil in every situation, and you just pick the bad side. So even though CM Punk may think he has some kind of superpower, Drew is going to make sure that he is broken when they get to Bad Blood. I'm just like, yeah, let's get to October right now, because this is going to be one hell of a match. So these two really have upped the intensity over the last week, and there is word going around that maybe they won't main event, which I can understand, because Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes are going to be the flipping mega powers in 2024, but I really think it's going to be hard to have a normal match after what these two are going to do, but maybe that actually even heightens the experience, because they will be like, well, now we've got a chip on our shoulder. But honestly, it's the feud of the year, or at least one of them. And both guys have done such good promo work, and we have rehabbed the Hell in a Cell. Even I'm like, what are you doing? Don't get in that thing. Give it an up. This is when Adam Pearce did do his last Monster Standing announcement, but he had to run away when he heard some commotion because Pete Dunne was strangling Sheamus with a cricket bat. I thought he was going to get a scone and stick it in his throat, then just have a nice cup of tea. Dunne was soon dragged away as he was screaming, "Don't call me Butch." So I was like, bro, you are a very unhinged individual. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill then went and found Damage Control, and Bianca Belair was like, dude, I want a rematch because you beat me last week. And I was like, yeah, bring that into my house. That match rules. Guy was also pumped up because she wants a tag team match because she thinks her and Kyrie can win the tag team titles. When Jade was like, man, you can't say stuff like that. So if we're not going to do this match soon, well, this would have been the stupidest thing WWE has ever done. It's a wild exaggeration, but of course it's going to happen. Now, I suppose you could have said this was a little bit drab if we hadn't done something else, but we did do, because it was Damage Control taking on the Unholy Union, and Damage Control won. This made perfect sense. It's the number one contenders getting a win over the former tag team champs. We still do need to add to this division too, but at least we did something. And even though Alba Fire and Isla Dawn were doing okay, they then got struck by the most powerful force in all of sports entertainment, the commercial break. Because honestly, as soon as we came back from the advert, we got the hot tag, and Io Sky ran wild. It doubly made me laugh because as soon as you had hit a double drop kick, Alba went for the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment. But it was not devastated at all. On this episode of Raw, it didn't pin anyone. Kyrie then went totally crazy because she hit an insane elbow to the outside when Io Sky was like, oh my gosh, the moonsault is right there. She scored with it and she got the 1, 2, 3. And this got a massive pop from the fans, so even though Damage Control did turn babyface just thanks to magic, it has most definitely worked. Sky is also doing some of the best work she has done in ages, so somebody lit a fire under her ass, and more power to whoever that was, so this is most definitely getting an up. It was a really good tag team match, and again, let's just make sure we keep getting our stories in there. There is something to build. We had been having a bunch of hype videos for our Intercontinental Championship match, which would be our main event on this evening, when Kathy Kelly went and found Bron Breakker. He totally knows the right superstar is going to win tonight, and of course that's not going to be Jey Uso, but don't worry man, he is going to give you another shot when you have to go right back to square one and climb back up the ladder. It also means that somebody's going to get their ass kicked and it's not going to be him. And I was like, I think that was the lyrics to Mark Henry's theme song. We then had this weird video with a symbol when a voiceover said fate is woven or woven is fate. So I was like, oh, that's cool. We're going to get somebody appearing with a sewing gimmick. But again, look, it's on the screen right now. Apparently this is like Viking language. So I'm 99% sure the Viking Raiders are going to be back on TV soon. Which is when Raw aired the Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns segment from SmackDown, basically in its entirety. Now I am pleased they did this because that thing was totally great and everybody should watch it, but it just goes to show when Raw is put at 2 hours, we should have time for everyone, because here we took something we did on Friday and again we just repeated it. You don't have to do that if your show's only 120 minutes. Sami Zayn then pumped up Jey Uso and I was getting so excited for this Intercontinental Championship match, when it was actually time for the Creeds versus the New Day. They got loads of time as well, which is only going to benefit Julius and Brutus, and honestly, the story here, I actually think low-key it's one of the best on Raw. Now, for starters, once again, Woods was wearing black, whereas Kofi was wearing green, so they're not on the same page, when we got a bunch of double suplexes. Why wouldn't we do that? The most powerful force in sports entertainment then struck again because the commercial break was here, and the Creeds took advantage of that when it looked like Xavier Woods was going to get the hot tag, but he wasn't able to, and poor Kofi, it looked like his hand was sweating, it was good to go. Now they did actually get it, but the ref didn't see it to talk about only having one job, when eventually Xavier Woods did get the hot tag. And I've kind of ran that into the ground, I didn't really approach it with the right gravitas. I'll go home. Kingston instantly hit the trust dive onto both people when he went for Trouble in Paradise, but he missed when he still hit Trouble in Paradise. And I was like, how apt is that move right now? Because when it comes to New Day, there is Trouble in Paradise. I've got to go home again. Now Woods eventually got back in there and he was all ready to hit his big elbow and probably win the match when Chad Gable got on the apron. And even though it has been Xavier saying, man, we need to keep our cool, he lost his cool, he threw Gable in the ring, and he beat the shit out of him. Now Julius was just like, okay, well I'm going to knee you in your face, when he called over his brother and they hit the Brutus ball. And they pinned Xavier for the 3. I was like, I don't think he's going to like that. Now we really made sure to play it like it was Xavier's fault, even though he's meant to be the brand new quarterback. Kofi was a bit like, what happened, bro? So once again, this is so damn good, and you could swim through the depth in here, and they're all playing their roles so well. And look, American Made got a win. That's no bad thing. Up. Damian Priest was then doing a big video of his own when he started talking about family. I was like, oh cool, he's Vin Diesel. Now he was focused on growing up in the streets when finally he did meet the Judgment Day, who would become his brethren, especially him and Finn Balor, when he realized Finn only cared about himself. Before that, these two were going to run WWE, so I was like, well, that probably means you have to have a feud with Adam Pearce. I mean, right now, he is literally running Raw. I then laughed because Damian blamed all this on the fact that Finn got jealous of Rhea Ripley. Oh, he wants to be the women's champion, when he was like, no, no, no. You were also envious of me when I became the world champion. So once again, you're the dickhead. His last line, even though it was said in Spanish, according to the internet, was that at Bad Blood, he is going to rip Finn Balor's head off. So bring it down, there's the crime counter, and it goes up by 1, you know the deal. But I tell you, Damian Priest is having a fabulous 2024. He just feels like a dude you want to sit down with and be his friend. And I know that makes me sound like a stalker, but that's what he does give off. But because he is a massive dude too, you know he can kick somebody's ass. Very excited about this match. Think it's like drowning in fun. It's a stupid thing to say. Giving it up. When we did get this White 6 video, I'm just going to read you the words that it said on screen. I am but dust, a worm, a rebel. You cast your light of countenance upon me. And I said, I shall live the words of the red you speak, we follow. So he's like a ladybug now, I don't know. They got another video for the Pure Fusion Collective. Look, I actually thought they came across like badasses here. It was like, everybody gets together because they're scared, whereas we just want to break fools. Now, this is going to work with a stupid name, but we have to give them more story. It can't just be we want to own the division. Everybody wants to own the division. It's like Monopoly. So yes, hopefully this does mean we are going to do something bigger because the aesthetic is very pleasing. We're like 2 months in, Pure Fusion Collective still makes me laugh. It'd be like watching a Batman movie made by Joel Schumacher, and this would be the weapon that Mr. Freeze was using. We then went to the back and we saw Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods trying to calm each other down when Rey Mysterio walked in and made it even worse. He was trying to apologize for the fact that the LWO did get involved. Xavier was like, "Why are you here giving us advice? You should probably be giving that to your stupid ass son." So, well, that's not going to go down well, is it? Ray then flipped out because he was meant to be fighting Finn Balor next week, but now he was like, well, I'm going to fight you instead. So if I was Adam Pearce, I would have poked my bald head in and gone, you can't do this. I'm in charge, not you. Toby told him to calm down, but it was way too late, and Xavier accepted this challenge, because deep down, maybe this is the root of all their problems. They need to be winning matches. He also made it very clear that he thinks everybody's out to get him because he's never won a singles title, unlike his bros. So once again, just fabulous, fabulous stuff. And we do get to Kofi Kingston versus Xavier Woods. It's going to be like watching my children fight. I don't know if I'm ready for it. When we did get to our main event, Bron Breakker versus Jey Uso IC Championship match, I think this is the greatest thing that I've ever seen in my life. Then, of course, it's hyperbole, but the fans were so into this. Very early on, Jey hit a dive when he was struck by the most powerful force in all of sports entertainment, the commercial break. It was totally out of control on this show. So now we all need to watch the adverts. Breakker did slam his ass after that, though, when he started doing the overhead suplexes, and he hit a backbreaker to break his back. Now listen, I doubt he would have got the 1, 2, 3, but he didn't even bother making a proper cover, because instead he started to do push-ups. Now, 1, I totally get it. He's a Steiner, he can't help himself. But 2, dare I say, he got a little bit too cocky. That may have cost him the match. Breakker still smashed Uso's head on the announce table when he jumped off the apron, and they just went flying over this thing. Once again, the fans were so electric for this, you couldn't help but be excited. We then got the yeet punches, if that's what we're calling them, but Jey wasn't able to hit a splash, but he was able to finally hit the Samoan drop. Don't worry, I went and did some reading. He is Samoan, so it's fine. Breakker then came back with a Frankensteiner as this got really good when he speared his ass on the outside of the ring. Jey was like, fine, I'm going to spear you back too. And you would do that. It's called having a real fight. If you're going to rugby tackle me, I'll rugby tackle you right back. I really didn't know what direction this was going to go in either, which made it so fun. And the near fall after one of these splashes could be one of the best 1-2-oohs we've seen in a long old time. And the fans were so shocked and so annoyed, they even started to chant, man, this ref sucks. Bron then went for another spear, but Jey Uso super kicked him right in the face when they went crashing through Barry Barricade. Because of course we had to do that. This was basically a pay-per-view premium live event main event. Eventually they got back in the ring, which is when Jey Uso did what he had to do because he hit the spear, and even when he was going for the Uso splash, you could feel the air in the room going, well, something's going to happen, but it didn't. Jey Uso got the damn thing, he got the 1, 2, 3, and if I had hair, I wouldn't anymore, because it would have fallen off my head. You have got to see the reaction too, because everyone is so damn happy. And this is what wrestling is all about, and look at all the other things it brought to the table. Firstly, a title change hands on TV, which never happens, but now every single time we do get a championship match on Raw or SmackDown or whatever, you're going to be going, well, it could happen, it just did. You also love the fact that Bron Breakker was only champion for 50 days, because now once again it's going to keep you on your tippity toes. And no, it doesn't ruin Bron Breakker. It's wrestling, man, it's meant to be a sport. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and Bron has way too much talent. You can't bury him. He'll just come out the ground like a zombie. So I just think it's all about picking your moments, and look what else we have here. Roman Reigns admitted on SmackDown he's had nothing, whereas Jey Uso left the bloodline after 14 years. He has finally become a singles world champion. I am never going to get mad about this. I thought it was perfect. That's why it's not just getting an up, it's getting a golden up. Look, got my cool special effects up hand. It's even got a wiggle. This is what happens now when someone entertains me to the degree this did. So way done, Jey Uso. Way done, Bron Breakker. Jey Uso is the Intercontinental Champion. I'm genuinely happy about this. And again, that's why I watch professional wrestling. The best damn end to Raw in ages. Which of course brought us to the end of the show, and I just realised I found no downs on this episode of Raw, but it's true. I had a really good time. I enjoyed all the segments. Maybe there was one too many videos. I'm going to get mad about that. I'm going to be dead one day. So overall, it's an up episode of Raw. Remember, it ain't maths. This doesn't mean it's the best episode of Raw ever. It just meant on this day, it worked for me. Now, of course, please do leave me a comment below and let me know what you thought about last night's episode of Raw. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen, which is ups and downs of SmackDown, so you can get all of my reviews. But otherwise, my friends, celebrate Jey Uso today, and I'll see you soon.